Am I starting it?
Yeah, dude.
Here we are, what is this, week 9?
9.
Jesus. Doesn't feel like 8 weeks of football already went.
I know.
But it's just science.
Halfway point.
Time moves. Is time real or is it not? Either way, you know what we're covering today? Thursday night football matchup. We're doing a little mini episode for you. It's episode 36. Maybe it's 35.5. Maybe not. Nope. 36. Episode 36. We're just covering this Cardinals 49ER'S game. Divisional game. This will be interesting. Yeah, let's just get right into it. I'm not going to, because it's a short episode, we'll just go real quick.
Yeah.
Let's get right into it. Cardinals, Niners.
One thing I say, I feel like we've been slacking on these Thursday night games. Definitely got to get better at it.
Yeah, we just got to get better at covering them. It's just they sneak up on us, you know?
They're very sneaky, sir.
They're very sneaky.
Very sneaky, sir.
Like a snake.
All right, 49ER'S, Thursday night football, traveling to Arizona, going to play the Cardinals. What's the line on the game? Let's
pull it up.
check it right.
It's
now.
I think it's like it's not as much as you would think, because I think the Cardinals are only favored
10.5. The Niners are
really?
minus 10.5 with a 43-point over under.
Because that's crazy, because I thought I seen it at like plus 350. So usually when you
10.5. Wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, 10.
So.
Yeah, plus 375.
All right. So I guess we just start right on the Niners side of the ball here. Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, what's your thoughts on Jimmy Garoppolo?
It's not a bad
matchup here. It's a good matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I touched on the waiver wire. I think he was available in like 60, 70% of the league. So if you have like a Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, these guys are on a bye. If you're looking for a streaming quarterback, maybe a 2-quarterback league, I'm not mad at it. I mean, the Cardinals actually have given up 20 passing touchdowns this year, and that's the most in the NFL. And they've also given up the most passing yards in the NFL as well. So that's not good.
But with that, you do have to realize that Jimmy Garoppolo, that the 49ER'S offense, I think they throw the least.
Yeah. Run heaviest team.
Yeah. That being said, they do have some, they keep getting injuries with their running backs. So you would think maybe they'll pass more. They did get Emmanuel Sanders, so that could add to the passing game. But the matchup is good, though.
The matchup's good. The only thing I could say, I think I might have even said this on the waiver wire episode too, is that, with a minus 10.5 point spread for the Niners here, you're thinking that they should be up a lot. And they are the run heaviest team in the NFL. Maybe they don't have to throw the ball that much.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're looking at the numbers, I'm a big number guy. I'm always looking at all the numbers here. But the numbers, most passing yards allowed to quarterbacks and most touchdowns given up to quarterbacks. I mean, it's there. If you're in a pinch and you kind of need someone, I think it's kind of like, all right, hey, I just need someone, throw it in there. He's not going to give me a complete goose egg.
There's worse streams. If you have a quarterback on a bye this week, there's worse streams than Jimmy Garoppolo.
For sure. Running back situation here. Boy, Tevin Coleman just exploded last week.
4 touchdowns.
I think he only had 13 touches too, or something like that. It was like something stupid like that.
Yeah, he ran a real long one too. It was good. Yeah.
I mean, but he looks good. I mean, I did a trade in one of my leagues. I traded Marlon Mack this last week for Tevin Coleman, and it's just because
timing.
Yeah,
the
guy texted me afterwards. He's like, "Hey, can we take that trade back?" And I was like, "Yes." Because I feel if you have Tevin Coleman right now, it's going to be hard to move him.
Yeah,
he's been playing really good. I think he's pretty much had a touchdown in almost every single game, if not every game, since he's been back. One thing I just noticed with this is like, me, I'm a big guy, and like if you go sign someone in free agency, you go trade for someone. I mean, there's a reason why you went out and like handpicked that guy.
Right.
For
you're not
team.
putting him on your team for no reason.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously there is depth chart moves, but I feel like because he was an off season signing, so it's like I feel like when you're doing stuff off season, you're getting prepared.
Yeah.
For that year, you're not gonna like with Wu. They don't have Jerick McKinnon again.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. They're going to use him.
I mean, yeah, Tevin Coleman, he's played with Shanahan before. Shanahan was the offensive coordinator in Atlanta, so he kind of knows they know each other. Right. Coleman knows what the offense, Shanahan knows the type of running back, and how to use Tevin Coleman, and he granted he got hurt in that first week, so you couldn't really see the potential he had. But I mean, Breed is obviously a really good running back too. This is 2 years in a row we've seen him kind of do it. I think he leads the league in rushing yards per attempt or something, or he's up there at least. But we'll touch on him in a second. But we see other guys like Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson Jr., and like you even said, like Matt Breida. They're getting it done in this system, and it's like this is just a good system for running backs.
Yeah,
run heavy team. Good offensive line schemes.
Like the couple, what was it, 2 years ago with Jerick McKinnon? He looked pretty decent with their offense.
Yeah,
and like he before that, he didn't look that great.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jerick McKinnon got hurt in preseason
this year,
last year.
Yeah,
this year
he was in Minnesota. Yeah. Don't listen to me.
I think Mike is still drunk from the Monday night game.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Dude, it's like how mad you just like trying to get hammered because the Dolphins were up 14-0, and then all of a sudden you're like, dude, did you see Big Ben out there? It's like, okay.
Dude, did you see how my story? I was pepping everybody up at the trough in the bathroom.
No,
I think I just recorded it on my phone.
Yeah.
But I was like, this is where games are won or lost, boys. Just like fucking 5 wide at the trough. At the fucking trough. I was like screaming. These guys are like, it was really funny.
Yeah. But anyways, back to Tevin Coleman. Like I said, one of the reasons why I liked him is just because he was used to the system. And this is a good system for running backs here. Like I said, it's going to be hard to get him if you can, but we're just getting some alerts here. So with that being said, Tevin Coleman, you're starting him. Kind of just got an alert right here. So Matt Breida was questionable to play, but just got an alert saying that he is going to play tonight. So with that being said, I think this is still kind of a running back by committee, even if it is Tevin Coleman 60-40-ish, I think Breida is a good running back, and I think, low-end RB2, flex guy if you need him. I'm not mad at throwing him, especially this week against the Cardinals. The Cardinals' defense is one of the worst in the NFL. So, yeah, if I have a running back, I'm dialing them up against them because, they're not very good. They're not good defense at all.
Right.
So, Breida and Coleman, definitely fire them up. I think it's the receivers here. So, you see, they traded for Manny Sanders. Like I just touched on, if you go trade for someone, you're going to use them. He came out. He actually had a touchdown right out the gate, I think on the first drive, which is good to see. You like seeing that.
Right.
They didn't really have to incorporate him too much after that because they were up. They wound up winning like 51-13 against the Panthers. So this week, because each and every week we'd say like, what Niner wide receiver are you going to play? And we'd be like, pull the trigger.
Right.
Dante Pettis, Marquise Goodwin. You got the rookie Deebo Samuel. You got another rookie Jalen Hurd that should be coming back soon. Obviously, they didn't feel comfortable with any of those guys, so they went out and traded for a 33-year-old receiver, a veteran receiver, because they didn't feel comfortable with these guys.
Right.
With that being said, though, Patrick Peterson came back. He did shadow Michael Thomas all over the field. Was it last week? I think they played the Saints and the Cardinals. Yeah. But Michael Thomas still had a pretty monster game. 11 catches on 11 targets, I think it was, for a fuck ton of yards and a touchdown. But with that being said, I think the only receiver you're thinking about starting for the Niners is Manny Sanders. But with Patrick Peterson shadowing him, do you kind of temper your expectations? You a little nervous?
Yeah, I would temper my expectations. I feel like depending on what your wide receiver situation is, I wouldn't even mind benching Manuel Sanders. I don't know. I just don't just run heavy team. Yeah, he did. If he didn't have the touchdown, I don't know how great of a game he would have had.
Yeah. They didn't need him,
right?
They're running all over them. And
I think they're just. It could be. Yeah, I don't know. I would say temper expectations, and if you have decent wide receivers, say you have like a Diggs and a. I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, if you have some good depth, maybe then you don't need him. But
yeah.
Maybe you're in like a 3 wide receiver league and you're in a double flex kind of league. One thing I could say with Manny Sanders here, this is the man crush last year, and he was just crushing it before he got hurt. Still obviously a good player, and it's been crazy to see him come back, as fast as he did from the injury, and he was still pretty productive even with Joe Flacco under center there. But I don't know if it's the X receiver or the Y receiver in the Kyle Shanahan offense, but whoever that receiver is in the offense is usually like the like it's like hyper targeted. You know, like we
Right.
saw it back in Atlanta for Julio Jones, just crazy hyper targeted. We saw it. I want to say it was when Shanahan was in Washington that Pierre Garçon was just
Yeah.
getting hyper targeted. He had like over 100 catches that year, I think it was. And then even, Pierre Garçon went to the Niners, another one of Shanahan's guys. He brought him with him. He was getting hyper targeted there as well. So if he, the XY receiver, whatever it is, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but whoever that receiver is for that offense is the focal point of the passing game. So with that being said, even though Patrick Peters is shadowing him, I do think that Manny Sanders is still a flex play at least here.
Yeah. But flex play, don't put him in your flex Thursday night game.
Thursday night play, yeah, for sure. Any receivers here? Probably not, right?
Yeah, I'm not playing Marquise, so I'm not.
And then George Kittle, he just set it and forget it each week. This could be a monster George Kittle game, actually, because if Patrick Peterson kind of limits Manny Sanders, it could be a monster George Kittle.
Well, and we've gotten to realize that the Cardinals aren't very good against tight ends.
Yeah, well, that's
for the most part.
true. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
You're dialing up all year. So this is, Kittle probably have 4 touchdowns. That's probably what it comes down to.
Tevin Coleman tags him in. Your
Yeah.
turn for 4.
Yeah. And then the Niners defense, they're the truth, man. I mean, this is a good defense. I think the Niners are, a lot of people are saying like they haven't really played anyone. They're not as good as they should be, or like the record doesn't say because they haven't played anyone good. But bro, I think the Niners defense is the truth. I think this is a good football team all around.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, they've been drafting first-round defensive linemen for like 4 straight years. I mean, they went out and signed one of the best linebackers from Tampa Bay, Quan Alexander, I think is how you say his name. I mean, you still got Richard Sherman, it's a good corner out there. I mean, it's a good defense all across the board,
Right.
So, yeah, you definitely down them up against Kyler Murray and that shaky offensive line here. Kyler Murray could be running around like a crazy person tonight.
Yeah. I'm. That being said, you want to switch to the Arizona side?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kyler Murray. I'd be trying to fade him in this. Would you play Jimmy G over Kyler Murray?
I would.
Yeah.
I would,
That's what I was thinking when we were talking about Jimmy G, but I wanted to wait. But I'm in a situation where I'm playing Sam Darnold over Kyler Murray. Obviously, it's a good matchup, Jets against the Dolphins, but I'm playing. I'm trying to play anybody else besides Kyler Murray if I can.
Yeah, I mean the Patriots. The Patriots. They're on the top of the list. The Patriots have given up the least amount of passing touchdowns to quarterbacks. Only 2. I don't know if that's actually correct. That sounds.
Yeah, no,
crazy.
they have more defensive scoring touchdowns than they've let.
Oh wow, that is ridiculous. Anyways, but number 2 in terms of the least amount of touchdowns allowed to quarterbacks is the 49ers. They've only given up 5 so far. So super stingy defense, and they've also given up the least amount of passing yards to quarterbacks, the San Francisco 49ers. So, yeah, this would be a gross one for Kyler Murray here. Yeah. I think you'd be fading him. And the only way he probably could salvage his day is, if he has rushing yards. Yeah,
that's the only thing is I could see Kyler Murray scrambling on plays because he has to.
Yeah.
And we've even been looking. They have some offensive linemen injuries on the Cardinals too. So
yeah.
That being said, I could see him splitting out, rushing for some yards. That's about it.
That's about it. Yeah,
I think I would say he probably gets 8-9 points tonight.
Yeah. So I think we both say we're not in love with Kyler Murray in the matchup here.
I do love Kyler Murray, but just this week, be fading him
for sure. With that being said, we'll jump to the running backs here. So one of the biggest trades during the deadline, the Cardinals traded the Dolphins for what? Who was it again?
Who?
They traded for the running back from the Dolphins.
Drake?
Your boy Drizzy Drake gets traded to the Cardinals here. So this is an interesting situation because David Johnson, he's still battling an ankle injury. They're looking like he's not going to play, is from what I've been reading. I think he's going to be a game time decision, but it's looking like he's not going to play. I mean, he was a game time decision last week, and what did he get you? 2 points? He left after 1 play, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah. If I had David Johnson, even if it is a game time decision, even if he goes to play, I'd be scared to play him.
I mean, yeah, the Niners
defenses,
like I said, they're pretty good.
Because even worst case, he is out there on enough snaps. That defense is so good.
Yeah.
I just couldn't see. The Cardinals have actually like a pretty rough schedule for running backs coming up too. I was
Yeah.
gonna pull that up, but
So I mean, I guess it'd be nice to just know that he's not playing, so you don't feel tempted. But let's just say they're like, okay, he's gonna play. Are you throwing him into your lineup, or did he kind of burn you last week and you don't want to fall for that again?
No,
so you're kind
I'm
of like,
not.
oh, like if he has a good game, okay, cool. But like, obviously the matchup is super tough.
I'm not
But
playing.
are you just not even risking it?
I'm not risking it.
Yeah, I don't think I would risk it either.
I have him.
Unless
I
like
have
I
him in like 2 or 3
needed to,
leagues.
like unless I like needed, like there's just nobody. I buys injuries. There's literally like no one on the waiver wire. Like
Yeah, I'm not doing it.
I'm not playing him if I don't have to.
Yeah. Don't get tied to the names.
Yeah. So with that being said, if he's not like well, I think you just said we don't like it right here. It's pretty gross. And like I said, he's trending in the direction of not playing. Also, the backup Chase Edmonds, who probably won't be the backup anymore now that
So
they have
they play-
Drake. Chase Edmonds is going to be out for several weeks with a hamstring injury.
They play San Francisco this week. Then they play the Buccaneers, which is like the top against the run. You hear Buccaneers, but they're really good defense against the run. Then they play San Francisco again, and then they're on a bye.
Well, those are the next 4 weeks.
Yeah.
That's pretty gross.
Yeah. So I mean, if I had Kenyon Drake, and someone's kind of like, I mean, I know this is Thursday, so we're a little bit late. Say Kenyon Drake somehow goes out and does well, I'll be trading him hot because you don't have a good couple of weeks. And if David Johnson does come back, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. This is kind of one of like the weirdest spots for Drake because there were some rumors going around, like the Bucks. There's like Texans, the Lions, a couple teams like that interested in trading for Drake, and he goes here. So it kind of just makes me think, like I said, Chase Edmonds is going to be out for several weeks with a hamstring injury. I think the David Johnson ankle is a little bit more serious than people are letting on. Maybe they just want to be cautious with him because they don't want it to make it even more severe than it is. But I mean, if it's a high ankle sprain, those things can take. I mean, I know Saquon Barkley is kind of a freak, like Anthony always jokes around. He's got that Wolverine blood in him because he can just heal super fast. But high ankle sprains, I mean, we even saw Tevin Coleman, it took about 5-6 weeks almost, until he came back. So if it is a high ankle sprain, he could be out for a long time. With that being said, I mean, Drake should get a healthy workload. He's a good pass catcher, especially in this offense. I think it's a good fit because he can catch the ball out of the backfield.
Right.
He is really elusive. Like he really is an elusive running back too. When he gets the ball in space, he can make defenders miss. It is a tough matchup, but with the volume he gets, and maybe he gets 5 passes tonight. Are you throwing Drake into your lineup? Does it depend on your depth? I mean, one of my leagues I picked up Drake on the waiver wire a couple weeks back, and I just been stashing him because I knew he was probably going to get traded. But it's like I have, Dalvin Cook, Tevin Coleman, Josh Jacobs, David Montgomery, and Kenyon Drake. So I'm not playing him over those guys. But, in other leagues where, for instance, one of my leagues I have Kamara and Dalvin Cook, and after that I have nobody. So I'm starting a Duke Johnson. But it's like if I had a Kenyon Drake, I think I'm starting him over like a Duke Johnson. I'm starting him over these like kind of these like lower tier kind of guys over here. I mean, like, off the top of your head, do you starting Sony Michel, with the 3 touchdown upside, or Kenyon Drake? But Michel can also get you a game where he gets you 15, 20 carries for 70 yards, and that's it.
Yeah. I would go Michel. Just touchdown upside, yeah. In most games, yeah.
See, I think I might go Drake
just in these
for the volume and the PPR wise. Standard, I know if Anthony was here, he would say standard, maybe Michelle, but PPR wise, even half PPR,
I would agree.
I think I'm going Drake. I'm just trying to think of some running backs here. Actually, you got it up right here, so maybe we can go over some guys here. But like I said, Drake, he should get a healthy workload tonight, being the only running back there behind. I think it's Alfred Morris and Zach Zenner. Those guys are plungers. They're not good at all. But let's just say, like Drake over Duke Johnson. Like I said, I would take Drake. But Drake over Carlos Hyde. I think I'm going Drake again.
Maybe Drake.
Just the upside. The volume. You got Drake or Devin Singletary and Frank Gore. Like one you got to start one of those 3. I think I'm going Drake because he's not splitting the workload with anyone.
Yeah. No.
Who would you take?
I would take. You said Devin Singletary.
Devin Singletary,
Yeah,
Frank
Devin
Gore,
Singletary.
or you go Devin Singletary?
Yeah.
But Drake or AP? think I'm going Drake again.
Yeah, I would go Drake over that. Bills defense is pretty good.
Let's see, Drake. This is kind of a tough one. You got Miles Sanders and who's kind of I think banged up a little bit, but Miles Sanders
There's
and
a lot
Jordan Howard. They're at home against the Bears. You taking a Phillies running back or Drake?
Probably. Were they playing the Bears?
Yeah,
I've seen some people run up against the Bears.
yeah. I think I'm going the Philly running back. Especially if Miles Sanders was dismissed, then yeah, I'm taking Jordan Howard for sure.
Yeah.
What about let's see?
I would for sure. Yeah.
Let's see. What about Drake or one of these Detroit Lions running backs? Ty Johnson, Trey Carson, J.D.
Okay,
McKissick.
yeah, I would go Drake over those guys.
Drake over Tampa Bay.
Yeah, okay.
Drake.
I fucking despise Tampa Bay running backs. I don't give a shit. I will not play them.
All right. What about this one? This is kind of tricky right here. So he finally fell into the end zone last week, but still, he's not at a yards per carry or like an effective rate. Melvin Gordon has not looked good. So you're starting Drake, Melvin Gordon, or Austin Eckler?
I would play Eckler over Drake. I would not play Gordon over Drake.
So you play Drake over Melvin Gordon?
Yeah. Which is crazy to think.
But I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. I mean, I think that's pretty much, you're getting to those guys,
So Phillip Lindsay or Royce Freeman over Drake.
Who are the Broncos are playing?
Cleveland. Yeah, but it's in Denver.
Yeah, that one's close right there.
Those are about the same.
Because they've been, the running back by committee. That one's kind of like, okay, running back by committee, they probably have a better matchup and upside, but Drake sees the volume. I might lean. I really feel like Drake gets 5 to 6 catches just because they need quick, short passes in that offense, and the defensive line is going to be rushing in pretty fast. So, yeah, interesting. I guess we'll just see how much of the.
I think PPR wise, Kenny and Drake will be.
Yeah.
More used than.
Yeah. I'm be interested to see how good he is, but I kind of know. We went pretty in depth right there, but I think people need to kind of understand.
Yeah.
What to expect, and maybe people are kind of in a pinch, like this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Maybe just one more. So like you have it highlighted. That's why the Steelers. Of course, you'd have the Steelers highlighted.
I really didn't even mean to do that.
So James Conner's kind of banged up with a shoulder injury. So Benny Snell's going to be out for a couple weeks with a meniscus. So Jalen Samuels, if he gets the nod, or Drake.
I'd play Jalen.
I'd go Jalen as well.
Yeah,
for sure. All right, so touch on the receivers then here now. You got Christian Kirk, came back from the ankle injury, and then you got Larry Fitz. Kind of interesting because these guys were like both doing pretty good to start out the season, and then
they've kind of tapered off.
Kind of just it's. Actually, I was looking at it, I didn't even realize it, but Larry Fitz has been, and this is a PPR wise, coming out. He started the season 200+ yard games. He had 5 of 6 games where he had pretty much like 12 or more PPR points. But then these last 2 games, 1 catch for 12 yards, 2 catches for 8 yards. I don't know if it's. I mean, besides that, he was getting a minimum of 5 catches per game. Besides these last 2 games, every game 5 or more catches. So what? I mean, do you think it was because Kirk was kind of out those games? I mean,
I think the beginning of the year, Kyler Murray's just kind of getting used to the NFL level, and I feel like Larry Fitz always has those like kind of shorter routes up the middle. It's a little bit easier to just dump those off. I feel like maybe Kyler Murray's getting more comfortable throwing deeper, things like that, taking chances, hitting Christian Kirk longer. I think it could be something like that. I think Larry Fitzgerald's still a decent like flex play.
Like wide receiver 3 flex guy.
Yeah. I mean, I would play Larry Fitz over a decent amount of people.
I mean, those 2 games were on the road, the last 2 games at New York Giants, at the Saints, 1 catch for 12 yards, 2 for 8 for Larry Fitz. But like I said, besides that, every single game, the first 6 weeks, he a floor of 5 catches, 5 to 8 catches, any given week between those first 6 weeks. I think I'm going to kind of go towards that trend more than the last 2. I think maybe 1 week one week, I think the Giants, Chase Edmonds had that 3-touchdown game. He broke off a couple big runs, so you didn't really need to throw the ball as much. Even Kyler Murray didn't have a really good game that one either. And then at New Orleans, tough. It's a tough game, I think, right there. But yeah, I think Larry Fitz is still like in a game where they should need to throw the ball. I think I feel comfortable playing Larry Fitz this week, especially in a PPR.
Yeah.
The other receiver here, Christian Kirk, he's, just looking at his numbers, pretty much he missed the 3 games with the ankle injury. But besides that, he's pretty much had 10 or more PPR points in 4 of the 5 games. And honestly, he's kind of, I don't want to say he's been the number one, but I feel like he's getting a little bit more targeted.
I would say that's a fair statement.
Than Larry Fitz.
Yeah.
I mean, in 3 of the 5 games that Christian Kirk's been out there, he's had 11 or more targets. So 12, and 11
which is crazy.
In 3 of the 5 games.
That's good.
Yeah. Larry Fitz had 13 and 11 targets in the first 2 games, but after that he hasn't hit double-digit targets the whole rest of the weeks throughout the season, which is weird because there's 3 games with no Christian Kirk, and you think maybe like he would get a little bit more hyper-targeted without Christian Kirk, but
right.
Yeah, it's still in the top double digits there. If you had to play one of the 2, who are you leaning towards?
Kirk.
I think I'm leaning Kirk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be down. I think they're going to be chasing points.
Yeah.
I would probably lean Kirk, yeah.
For sure. I mean, I think you could probably start both these guys. Like I said, I think they're going to need to throw the ball PPR-wise. A lot of quick, short passes, so probably maybe not a ton of yardage, but PPR-wise, a lot of short, quick passes. Besides that, no one else. Tight end, Charles Clay's, his best days were in Miami, and those are long gone. And then the Cardinals' defense is just one of the worst, so you're definitely not playing them. I know they got Patrick Peterson back, but still one of the worst defenses in the NFL. Anything else you want to touch on?
No. Defenses, Niners light it up. Cardinals do not.
Do not. But you're fucking so smart, bro.
Bro, here's the thing is look at the defenses, do quick calculations. Okay. 49ers light it up. Yeah, I mean it's not brain science, you know what I mean? Listen. That's all we got or what? Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, just probably like we're gonna go over these week 9 matchups coming up, but we're also gonna do an episode where we talk about the schedules remaining, which teams or which players have the easiest remaining schedules compared to, I know you kind of just touched on the Cardinals running backs a little bit ago, but what players have the tougher remaining schedules. Obviously, it's nice to have this good record. If you finish 10-3.
Right.
But then you get in the playoffs and all your players have shitty matchups. You lose in the first round. It happens all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Where you see teams that barely squeak into the playoffs, but all their players have juicy matchups and they kind of just blow up for the 3-game stretch. So
don't sleep on the waiver wires. You might have a completely set team, but I know it gets frustrating chasing all these like backups and everything, but it's really worth it towards the end of the season. People start to carry off. People will have teams that they're 6-2, or undefeated, and then they stop making any moves, and all of a sudden their team falls off.
Yeah.
All it takes is 1 or 2 injuries, and you don't have any depth, and you're fucked.
Yeah. So we're gonna go over like I said, the playoff schedule, because honestly for me I don't really care about my record in the regular season. Obviously you want to have a good record, but I just want to get in the playoffs, because when you get in the playoffs, that it's any man's shot. It's a 3-game free for all. Can you win 3 games in a row? If you do that 14, 15, 16 style instead of the 2 weeks, because I know some leagues they will do like a 2-week matchup, 14, 15, 16, 17, which is stupid. Don't do that.
Yeah, if your league is set like that, hey, change it.
Yeah. But yeah, so going over some good playoff schedules, rest of seasons, rankings, tough matchups, easier matchups, and just maybe some players that we personally like that we're trying to acquire, or that we have already that we want, and maybe some players that we're trying to trade away because we don't want to deal with that schedule and stuff like that. So that'll be another episode where we just go over all that stuff. I think the Messiah, a.k.a. Andre Navarro, is going to come on for that one.
Yeah, that'll be good to have him on.
So,
all right. Well, that being said, this has been the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast, episode 36, season 2. We hope you're doing well in your fantasy leagues, because we're doing fucking fantastic. If you could go check us out on YouTube, subscribe. If you want to rate us on the Apple Podcast app, or actually in any of whatever podcast app you use, Castbox, Spotify, whatever. There's different ratings and reviews on each of them. If you have that option in any of those podcast apps, go ahead and give us a rating, and it really helps us out. But besides that, just want to say thank you for being a part of the Average Bros Fantasy Football Podcast. And we're out.